Hi guys, welcome to Dreame Writing Academy. I am Heather Griffin, the tutor of Dreame Writing courses. I will share 8 topics about writing during the next 2 months. The courses are going to be delivered weekly, and in every topic, I will focus on a specific writing issue, explaining some writing methods, analyzing some examples, and more importantly, summarizing some practical writing tips. I hope that you guys really enjoy our courses. There will be an assignment after each course for you to exercise what you have learned, and you can win some writing points by sharing your work with us. Please remember that practice makes perfect. I hope all of you make some progress and will be the next top writers. Okay, now let's start our first topic, how to find sparks and turn it into writing ideas. Part 1, how to find sparks. Well, before we begin this topic, take a deep breath and ask yourself one question. What story do I want to write? Come on, share what you're thinking with us. Okay, well, writing a story is like planting a big tree. And before you plant a tree, you must first find a seed. In writing, the spark is the seed. The seed is the idea or thought that initially prompted you to write. It can come from a character, a myth, legend, or an interesting conversation you happen to overhear. The small seed is planted in your heart, and it reminds you of its existence from time to time. Because of it, you have a desire to write that cannot be ignored. That's the most original motivation for writing. The seed in your heart must sprout. We will talk a lot about writing skills in later courses. Before you start writing, though, there must be a desire to write and an impulse to express your ideas. That is to say, the spark must be there. Unfortunately, sparks do not pop up magically. Good writers must pay attention and build spark banks. But how to find sparks? Before moving on, I would like to ask a quick question. How do you find writing sparks in your daily life? Okay, it seems that isn't always easy. And here are some tips for you to find sparks. 1.1. Over-fantasy sparks. Collect sparks that pop up in your mind in your daily life. This kind of spark may come from one of your dreams, an inspiration you got while watching a movie, or dialogue between you and your friends. These sparks may seem bizarre, but they are not. On the contrary, they are excellent materials for writing. Taking notes on these fantasies at the time can help your writing improve. 1.2. Indirect sparks. Those sparks come to you when you're reading and watching films. Examples include classic plots, the interesting way the characters are introduced in scenes. The sparks of this kind offer writers practical, significant guidance. 1.3. Life sparks. Those sparks come from models of characters and events that you encounter in your everyday life. Those inspirations may stem from an encounter with your sexy neighbor, a visit with your doctor cousin, or a quarrel between friends. 1.4. News sparks. Sparks of this kind come from the news you browse online every day and events that are trending on social media. You can record the points that resonate with you and turn them into suitable writing materials. Okay, with the sparks, ask yourself the question again. What story do I want to write? Can the sparks fully respond to the question? Well, now you know, finding a spark is not the end. We need to turn it into an idea. The writer of the book, Diving Into You, Amelia Davids, gave us one example of the answer. She said, "One day when I was browsing the web, I happened to see the romantic story of a famous athlete, Iker Casillas Fernandez, and a journalist, Sarah Carbonero. Then a spark came to me. Why not write a story about a sexy athlete and a cute female journalist? They work hard in their way and have witnessed each other's low ebb and success. There were some misunderstandings between them, but finally, fall in love." What Amelia Davids was talking about was the spark that was flashed in her heart. Unfortunately, owning a spark is not enough for a writer who wants to write a complete story. You need to catch the spark seed Bury it in the right soil, care for it, and let it sprout. Putting it another way, you need to turn your sparks into ideas. To do that, you need to ask yourself some other questions. What kind of story should it be? A tragedy? A comedy? A twisted story? A werewolf story? A millionaire love story? A doomsday story? A thriller or a fantasy? Is it an opposites attract kind of story or an LGBT story? What's the plot type of the story? A contract marriage? One-night stand? Opposites attract? Time travel? Age gap? Second chance? Pregnancy or love triangle? Where does the story happen? In a modern city like New York, London, or Tokyo? In a small town with myths and mysterious forests? In Southeast Asia, South America, or some other place with its own unique culture and customs? In an imaginative place in outer space, or on a campus filled with vigorous youth? Who are the main characters? What are they like? How do they look? What are their personalities? What are their occupations? What are their families' backgrounds? Here are some tips to help you building an idea from a spark. 2.1. Set a background. The background is the foundation of the story. The background should include time. Most romantic stories happen in contemporary society, so writers do not need to spend a lot of time explaining today's societal environment and rules. But if you place your story in the past, the future, or on an alien planet, you must give your readers a clear picture of the time in which your story is taking place. Describe the landscape. How do people think? What are the political and economic rules? Scene. Scenes do not only give the story space, but build a kind of atmosphere. Readers have different expectations for different scenes. As an example, in Diving Into You, when the hero and the heroine are in a bar, readers naturally expect to see some romantic interaction between them. It is different when they're in a sports stadium. In this example, readers want to feel the passion that comes from sporting events, and they expect to see the hero win the championship. Background story. This is different from the main plot. The background story describes what happened in the past. It is helpful to explain how the characters developed. A good background story will help the reader fully understand the characters' emotions and motivations. Having a background story makes story characters more believable. 2.2. Design the main characters. When you design your characters, consider 3 dimensions: appearance, personality, and social connections. Appearance, we refer to sex, age, figure, clothing, the choice of their hair, posture, habitual actions, etc. Personality, you're talking about moral standard, ambition, temperament, attitude toward life, abilities, etc. When we think social connections, class, occupation, education, home life, religion, race, nationality, etc. A person's appearance, personality, and social connections should be mutually consistent. The characters in a book should be diverse. Each character should have his or her unique characteristics, which must be a composition of elements from the 3 available dimensions. 2.3. Determine the tags of the story. Even romance stories have many tags to choose from. Different tags will affect plot setting, character designing, and the emotional tone of a book. Amelia David, for example, chose Opposites Do Attract, Independent, and Confident as the tags for her book, Diving Into You. She said, "I don't want my story to be too sad. I want it to be full of strength and hope. I like protagonists with different personalities and family backgrounds. Stories of similar people are easy to get bored, while differences are more likely to produce conflicts, plots, and love." This is a classic example about how to begin a new story. Now you can also access Diving Into You on Dreame. The story has been well received by female readers. You can also find more skills and enlightening examples on Dreame Writing Guides. Have a try. In our first writing class, let's take a spark from your mind. Choose the spark you're most satisfied with. Share it in the comments section. And get your writing points. Be imaginative. Figure out the theme and type of story you want to write, and express it using the words that make you most comfortable. Here are the notes for you. Hope you enjoy this course. Thank you.